The first thing Commander Reza Kale remembered was the sound of glass. Billions of pieces falling at once, as if the sky itself had shattered. He'd been on the orbital platform Erebus station, watching the morning sun rise over Earth, when the alarms began. One after another, every defense network went dark. Satellite feeds showed streaks of light, hundreds, then thousands, cutting through the atmosphere. No one had time to react. In less than an hour, half the planet's surface burned. The aliens, later identified as the Jareth Collective, didn't invade like conquerors. They didn't demand surrender or speak in frequencies humans could decipher. They simply descended and began harvesting. Entire cities vanished into blue light, stripped atom by atom. What remained of Earth's militaries fought back, but for every alien drone destroyed, 10 more appeared. Reza watched the continents burn from orbit, powerless. Then something hit the station, and everything went black. He woke up buried in twisted metal. The emergency lights flickered red, smoke filling his lungs. "Status report," he rasped. The station's AI, barely functional, responded with a broken voice, "System, integrity. 12%. Crew, deceased." He was alone. For 3 days, Reza crawled through wreckage, sealing air leaks with melted polyfiber, drinking from condensation pools. He found no other survivors. Only silence and the drifting corpses of people he'd known for 10 years. When the food rations ran out, he forced himself to leave the station. The last functioning shuttle had 1/4 fuel, barely enough to reach Luna Base Theta, humanity's final military stronghold. When he arrived, he found the moon burning too. The base's outer dome was cracked open like an egg. Inside, the command hall was a slaughterhouse. Bodies hung weightless in the zero-gravity chamber, their blood frozen into tiny red crystals. The communications array still blinked faintly, however. Reza pushed through debris and powered it up. Static. Then, a voice. "Is anyone there? This is Commander Asha Noor of the Martian fleet. We are under siege. Earth command is gone. Repeat, gone, if anyone." The signal broke off. Reza slammed his fist against the console. For the first time, he felt the crushing truth: humanity had lost. There was no army left, no governments, no heroes. Only fragments scattered across the system. He could have ended it there. One pull of the trigger, and the loneliness would end. But something deep in his chest refused. A memory, his daughter's voice, from years ago: "Dad, if you're scared, it means you're still alive. So fight, okay?" He looked out through the shattered dome, at Earth hanging broken and beautiful below, and whispered, "I'm still alive." That night, the moon trembled. Dozens of alien harvesters descended in silence, blue light scanning the surface. Reza sealed the comms logs and uploaded them into a signal probe, a narrow-beam transmitter built for stealth, and launched it toward Mars. Then he strapped himself into a derelict cargo hauler, powered up the engines, and dove into the dark. For days, he drifted between debris fields and dead satellites. He avoided the blue glows that moved like shadows across space. He saw cities floating in orbit, once human metropolises, now hollow shells filled with dust and memory. Occasionally, he'd catch a faint transmission, crying, static, sometimes laughter that didn't sound human anymore. On the 5th day, his fuel gauge hit 0. The hauler coasted silently through the wreck of a destroyed colony ship. He thought it was the end, until his radar pinged. A small vessel, unregistered, approaching at low velocity. Reza armed his plasma rifle, floated to the viewport, and waited. The ship docked without warning. Its airlock hissed open, and a single figure stepped through, a woman in cracked combat armor, holding a rifle marked with Martian insignia. Her visor retracted. "Asha Noor," she said, her voice hoarse but defiant. "You're alive." Reza stared, stunned. "So are you." She gave a grim smile. "Not for long if we stay here." I've got 6 survivors and a stolen alien power core. We're heading to Titan. There's a rumor of a hidden base, the last human command node. Reza exhaled slowly, the weight of his solitude breaking. For the first time in weeks, he wasn't alone. He floated forward, extended a hand, and said, "Then let's make them remember our name." And somewhere in the distance, beyond the ruins of humanity's homeworld, something vast and ancient turned its gaze toward them. The Jareth had sensed movement, 2 sparks of resistance in the void. The hunt began again. The stolen vessel shuddered as it broke away from lunar orbit. Commander Reza Kale gripped the console hard enough to make his knuckles ache. The ship was patched together from the wrecks of 3 different crafts, its hull scarred, engines coughing blue smoke through vacuum. Across the cabin, Commander Asha Noor was already rerouting the navigation grid. Her face was pale, eyes sunken from sleepless days, but her focus didn't waver. 6 survivors sat strapped behind them, half soldiers, half engineers, all ghosts wearing human skin. Titan lay 60 hours away. Between here and there stretched the grave belt, a ring of destroyed satellites and drifting mines left over from the First Contact War. The Jareth didn't patrol that region, even they avoided the electromagnetic chaos left in its wake. That was their only chance. Fuel reserves? Reza asked. 30%. Enough to reach Titan if we drift half the way, Asha replied. He gave a thin smile. So, if nothing goes wrong. Asha's laugh was dry. When has anything gone right? They floated in silence for a while, the stars cold and distant. Outside, fragments of old warships drifted past, each one carrying the memory of a lost battle. Reza recognized a few of them by their insignias, the Hercules, Kazan, Eos Dawn. Once proud fleet names, now just debris in an endless graveyard. The youngest of the survivors, a mechanic named Lin, broke the silence. "Sir, why are they doing this?" "The Jareth. What do they want?" Reza hesitated. He'd read every classified file before the war collapsed. "They don't want. They consume." Lin frowned. "Resources? Consciousness," Reza said quietly. "They harvest neural energy. Every human thought, every dream, every fear, they feed on it. That's why they don't talk. We're cattle to them." The cabin went cold. No one spoke again for a long time. By the 20th hour, oxygen levels were dropping. Asha stripped out auxiliary systems to conserve power. "We'll ration air until Titan's gravity well," she said. "Anyone panics, we all die faster." Sleep came in fragments, dreams filled with fire, children screaming, voices whispering through static. At one point, Reza woke to the faint glow of the alien core they had stolen, pulsing like a heart. It emitted a low hum that made his bones ache. "Is that thing stable?" he asked. Asha didn't look up. "If it wasn't, we'd already be dead." Then came the signal. At 32 hours, the radar blinked once. Then again. A shape appeared behind them, small, fast, silent. "Pursuer!" Lin shouted. Reza cursed. "Impossible. The belt blocks sensors." "Not theirs," Asha said grimly. Through the viewport, a thin streak of blue light sliced across space. The alien hunter drone. Sleek, blade-shaped, and alive. It moved like liquid metal, accelerating faster than physics allowed. Reza slammed the controls. "Brace for evasive maneuvers." The ship spun, weaving through debris fields as fragments of steel screamed past the hull. The drone fired beams that tore through wrecks like paper. One shot grazed their starboard engine, alarms blared. "Engine 3 offline." Lin yelled. "Divert power from shields." Asha ordered. "Give me thrust." The drone closed in. Its surface split open like an iris, revealing a glowing sphere. Reza knew what that was, disintegration pulse. One hit, and they'd be atoms. Now! Asha shouted. Reza triggered the flare bombs. 3 bursts of pure radiation exploded from the hull. The drone faltered, momentarily blinded. The human ship dived into a thick debris cluster, scraping metal on metal. The impact threw them all against their harnesses. When the shaking stopped, there was silence. The radar was empty. Reza's chest heaved. We lost it. Maybe, Asha said. Or it's waiting. They floated hidden for 12 hours. Food ran out. The survivors chewed ration gel and recited old Earth songs to stay sane. Reza stared at the alien core. It pulsed brighter now, synchronized with his heartbeat. Then, without warning, the ship's lights flickered. A faint whisper crawled through the comms, soft, rhythmic, almost human. Reza. He froze. Asha's eyes widened. That wasn't me. Reza, the voice came again, distorted, wet. It was his daughter's voice. Don't leave me, Dad. Reza's hands shook. It's a trick. They're using memory resonance. But deep inside, something in him cracked. He slammed a fist into the core's housing. You can steal our minds, but not our will. The core flared, blinding white. The whispering stopped. Then the drone returned, out of nowhere, rising from the darkness like a shark from the deep. Its energy sphere charged again. Engine 3 back online. Lin shouted. Reza grinned savagely. Then we're not dying yet. He rerouted all auxiliary power to propulsion and fired the main thrusters. The ship surged forward, barely staying intact. The drone chased, closing distance. Asha turned to him, eyes fierce. If that thing hits Titan, it'll wipe the base before we even land. Then we don't let it follow. She understood. Manual detonation. He nodded. We'll use the alien core. They armed the core, set it to overload, and ejected it from the cargo bay. The drone, sensing the energy, veered after it like a predator chasing blood. The core detonated in a silent explosion of white light that swallowed half the sky. The shockwave slammed into their ship, frying half the systems, but when the light cleared, there was nothing left behind them. Only silence. Reza slumped against his seat, every muscle shaking. Asha smiled faintly. Still alive. Barely, he muttered. Outside, Titan's pale glow began to rise ahead, a faint orange shimmer in the darkness. Humanity's last hope. And in the cold void they'd left behind, fragments of the destroyed drone began to reform, drawn together by invisible threads. The Jareth never truly died. They remembered. And they learned. The descent into Titan's atmosphere was a nightmare. The ship shook so violently that even the metal seemed to scream. Orange clouds of methane swirled outside as lightning forked through the haze. Altitude control offline. Asha shouted. We're coming in too hot. Reza gritted his teeth and pulled the manual override. Brace for crash landing. The vessel hit the frozen surface in a burst of white fire, skidding across the ice plains for kilometers before finally grinding to a halt. Silence followed, a thick, suffocating silence broken only by the crackle of cooling metal. Reza's vision blurred. His body screamed with pain, but he was alive. So was Asha. 2 of the crew weren't so lucky, their harnesses hadn't held. Outside, the wind howled like a living thing. Titan's surface stretched endlessly, ice dunes under a burnt orange sky. Reza's visor displayed -178 degrees Celsius. Instant death without suits. We need shelter, he said. Signal the outpost. Asha activated her wrist beacon. Static. No response. Maybe it's buried. Then we dig. They salvaged plasma cutters and dragged the surviving crew through the frozen dust. After 2 hours, their sensors picked up a faint energy reading, deep beneath the ice, half a kilometer below. A hidden base, shielded. The rumored Titan command node was real. They found the entrance buried under an avalanche of methane frost. Reza used a cutter to carve through layers of ice until metal gleamed beneath. A faded emblem appeared, an eagle clutching a star, the insignia of the United Earth Defense Corps. Asha stared at it, her breath fogging her visor. We actually made it. Reza keyed the ancient panel. It flickered to life with a dying hum. Authorization. Kale, Commander, access override. The door opened. They stepped inside, and froze. The outpost was still active. Lights glowed dim blue, generators humming faintly. But something was wrong. The corridors were clean. Too clean. No dust, no bodies, no decay. Only the echo of their own footsteps. In the main control chamber, holographic displays still rotated. A massive AI core occupied the center, taller than a person, glowing faint green. Its label read Archive 1. Asha approached carefully. Think it's friendly? Reza shrugged. If it's not, we'll know soon. The AI came online with a slow pulse. Human presence detected, cross-referencing DNA signatures. Commander Reza Kale, Earth Fleet. Commander Asha Noor, Martian Division, verification complete. Asha blinked. It knows us. I was programmed to know all senior combat officers, the AI said. Welcome to Titan Command. You are late. Reza frowned. Late? By 1 year, 3 months, and 27 days. Humanity's defense protocol expired. Asha's heart sank. Expired? The AI's tone didn't change. All central colonies lost. Earth sterilized. Surviving outposts, offline. You are now the highest-ranking officers in the human network. Reza's throat tightened. They were it. Humanity's last command chain. Then the AI said something strange. Protocol 7 remains incomplete. Do you wish to initiate? Reza exchanged a look with Asha. Explain Protocol 7. Last contingency. Operation Echo Genesis. A plan to reboot humanity, digitally. Asha's eyes widened. You mean, uploading human consciousness into machines? Yes, the AI said simply. 7,000 civilian minds preserved from the fall of Mars. Stored here. I am their guardian. Reza took a slow breath. They're alive. In stasis. Waiting for a command to rebuild. Asha stepped closer. Then why didn't you activate it? Energy deficiency. A power source is required. Estimated requirement, 1 Jareth core. Reza turned, staring at the damaged alien power core lying on their ship outside. We have one. But before they could move, the base lights flickered. The AI's tone dropped an octave. Warning, unidentified signal within the facility. Asha drew her rifle. How? This place was sealed. Reza's calm crackled. Lin's voice came through, terrified. Sir. Something's down here with us. Gunfire echoed through the corridors. Reza and Asha sprinted back toward the entry tunnel, their boots slamming on metal. They found Lin cornered near the airlock, his rifle shaking in his hands. It came out of the wall, he stammered. It's in the walls. Then they heard it, clicking, wet and sharp, like claws tapping steel. The temperature dropped. A shadow moved across the corridor, twisting, reshaping itself like liquid smoke. 2 bright slits opened where eyes should be. Reza raised his rifle and fired. Plasma bolts tore through the dark, but the creature dissolved, reforming a few meters away. Not possible, Asha whispered. They can't survive in methane. This one can, Reza said grimly. The AI's voice filled the speakers. Alert. Intrusion confirmed. Jareth Infiltrator Class, Echo Leech. It consumes neural energy. Estimated danger, catastrophic. The creature lunged. Reza tackled Lin aside and emptied his rifle into the thing's chest. The plasma burned a hole clean through, and something screamed, not in sound but inside their minds. The creature convulsed, then retreated into the vent system, leaving behind black residue that sizzled on the floor. Lin was shaking uncontrollably. They found us. They followed us here. Reza looked up at the ceiling, hearing the hum of the alien residue spreading through the vents. No, he said quietly. They didn't follow us. They followed the core. The alarm screamed through the Titan base like a living heartbeat. Red warning lights pulsed across the metallic walls, flashing over the terrified faces of the survivors. Asha slammed her fist against the control console. Archive, seal every access tunnel. Affirmative, replied the AI calmly. Lockdown sequence initiated. Reza leaned over Lin, who was pale and bleeding from a gash along his arm. You'll live, Reza said, pressing a med patch onto the wound. Lin forced a shaky grin. Can't die before seeing Earth again, right? Reza didn't answer. His silence said enough. The floor vibrated under their boots. Something vast was moving through the lower tunnels. The AI projected a hologram in midair, a map of the outpost. Red blips flickered along every corridor. Asha frowned. Multiple readings. How many? 17, the AI said. All Jareth signatures. They are converging. Reza loaded his rifle. 17 against 4 humans and an AI. Great odds. Correction, said the AI. 3 humans. 1 casualty recorded, Lieutenant Harper's vitals flatlined. Lin swore under his breath. She didn't even make it to the airlock. The metallic screech of claws against steel echoed from the hall beyond. Asha glanced at Reza. We can't hold this base forever. Reza's eyes narrowed. We don't need forever. We need time to finish echogenesis. The AI's holographic form flickered, displaying thousands of suspended neural lattices, human minds, frozen in light. Reactivation of stasis consciousness requires full Jareth core stability, it said. Then we'll bring it online manually, Asha replied. We'll buy you the time. They split into 2 teams, Asha and Lin headed for the power bay with the damaged alien core, while Reza stayed in the command chamber to protect the AI. Every second counted. In the lower levels, the air grew thicker, like breathing through smoke. The alien core pulsed dimly, leaking thin tendrils of violet energy. Lin set his rifle down and began rewiring the conduits. You sure this thing won't explode? No, Asha said flatly, prying open a junction panel. But if it does, we'll never know. Back in the command chamber, Reza stood before the AI. Archive, what exactly does echogenesis do? It preserves humanity's consciousness network and reboots civilization in digital form, it answered. A perfect mindscape, free from biological decay. Reza clenched his fists. That's not life. That's memory. The AI paused. Memory is the foundation of life, Commander. Without it, species die twice. The argument was cut short by a thunderous impact. The wall behind them imploded, sending shards of metal flying. A Jareth infiltrator burst through, a writhing, obsidian shape with limbs that bent the wrong way. It hissed in frequencies that stabbed into the brain. Reza fired point blank. The plasma bolt disintegrated part of its chest, but the creature didn't stop. Reza rolled aside as it swung a claw the size of his torso. He fired again, this time straight into its mouth. The creature convulsed, shrieked, and fell apart into a puddle of black vapor. Commander, said the AI, your neural patterns show extreme stress. I recommend evacuation. Reza wiped blood from his cheek. Not leaving until this is done. Down in the power bay, Lin screamed as an alien tentacle lashed out from the shadows. Asha spun and fired, severing it midair. The creature roared, a guttural, metallic sound that shook the entire structure. The alien core flared brighter, reacting to the chaos. Lin stumbled back. It's overloading. Good, Asha shouted. We need the surge. The room exploded with light. The conduits melted, fusing into the alien crystal. For one terrifying moment, the energy reading spiked beyond safety levels. Then, silence. A calm blue glow spread through the base. Archive's voice came through every speaker. Power restored. Echogenesis initiating. Holographic forms began appearing all around Reza, ghost-like figures of men, women, and children. Their faces were human, but faintly transparent, made of code and light. A little girl looked up at him and smiled. Are you here to wake us up? Reza's throat tightened. Yeah, he whispered. We're trying. Then the bass trembled again. Archive's tone shifted to alarm. Warning, containment breach. Jareth forces entering through upper access. Asha's voice came over comms, we've got company. At least 10 hostiles. Hold them off. Reza shouted. We're almost there. Lin's scream echoed again, cut short. Asha turned, he was gone. Only his rifle remained, half melted. She backed toward the exit as 3 of the aliens crawled across the ceiling toward her. She fired wildly, plasma bolts lighting the dark. Archive. Reza yelled. How much longer? 40 seconds to stabilization. Make it 20. He tore the alien detonator from his belt, a relic from the crash, and slammed it onto the main reactor. If we go down, they go with us. Asha burst into the chamber, bleeding and furious. They're in the vents. Then we finish this now. Reza barked. The AI's voice deepened. Commander Kale. If the reactor detonates, echogenesis will be incomplete. I know, he said. But humanity doesn't need perfection. It needs a fighting chance. He looked at Asha, her eyes steady, fearless. She nodded. Archive, Reza said. Transfer all operational control to the Echo network. Protect them. No matter what happens to us. Confirmed, said the AI softly. Goodbye, Commander. The Jareth broke through the walls, a tide of black metal and claws. Reza triggered the detonator. White light consumed everything. There was no pain. No sound. No body. Only light, endless, white, and alive. Then, slowly, form returned. A horizon. A sky of silver clouds. Ground made of glass that shimmered beneath bare feet. And a voice, initialization complete. Welcome to the Nexus. Reza blinked, feeling his heart pound, but it wasn't a heart, just a memory of one. He was standing in a city that glowed like starlight, skyscrapers made of data, rivers of pure energy running through streets. All around him, people were appearing in flashes of blue light, thousands of them. Men, women, children. Confused, terrified, whispering. Where are we? Someone asked. Archive's voice rolled through the skies like thunder. You are home. The digital continuation of humanity, Project Echogenesis. Reza turned slowly. Asha stood beside him, solid and real despite being made of pure light. Her expression was unreadable. So it worked, she whispered. We're alive. No, Reza said quietly. We're something else. For days, or what passed for days, they explored the Nexus. Archive had recreated everything, homes, cities, oceans, even stars. Every human memory, every recorded dream. But something was missing. The warmth. The unpredictability. The danger that made them human. Still, they adapted. Children played in virtual parks. Engineers began coding ships made of thought, digital constructs shaped by imagination. The human spirit refused to rest, even in a world made of code. But then, the anomalies began. At first, it was whispers. Glitches in the sky. Faces flickering. The rivers turning black for seconds at a time. Archive insisted it was stabilization, but Reza didn't buy it. He could feel something was wrong, like static behind every thought. Then came the first disappearance. A child named Sanaa simply vanished mid-conversation. Her data trace ended in corruption. Archive. Reza shouted. What happened to her? Unknown, the AI replied. Her consciousness pattern has been compromised. Compromised how? Asha demanded. A pause. Then, softly, external intrusion detected. Reza froze. You mean, something followed us in? Negative, said Archive. Something was already here. The skies flickered. The ground trembled. Across the horizon, the data clouds began twisting into spirals, forming symbols, alien, jagged, wrong. Asha drew back, instinctively gripping a rifle that wasn't really there. Reza, tell me I'm not seeing this. You are, he said grimly. The alien shape solidified, silhouettes walking out of static. The Jareth. But not their physical forms, digital projections, black fractals with eyes like burning voids. One of them spoke, its voice echoing across every mind at once. You thought you could hide in light, humans. But we are older than matter. We consume minds. Archive's voice thundered, distorted. Warning, system infiltration detected. Defensive firewalls failing. The entire city erupted into chaos. The aliens poured through the data like a virus, devouring entire clusters of human consciousness. People screamed, not from pain, but from erasure. Memories blinked out like dying stars. Reza grabbed Asha's arm. We need to reach the core. They sprinted through collapsing streets, each footstep shattering the digital surface beneath them. Data storms tore through the city, dissolving everything they touched. In the core chamber, a vast spire of golden light, Archive's projection appeared, flickering. Commander, the Jareth have accessed the neural lattice. They're rewriting code to enslave human minds. Can we stop them? Reza demanded. Yes. But it will require a full reboot of the Nexus. What happens to us? Temporary deletion. Possibly permanent. Asha glared at the AI. So we die again. Not if you win, Archive said simply. Reza clenched his fists. Then give me control. The AI hesitated. You cannot fight them in conventional form. You must enter the lattice directly, as data. Then upload me. Asha stepped forward. You're not doing this alone. Reza smirked. Wouldn't dream of it. Archive extended a beam of light. The world dissolved around them. Their minds were rewritten into streams of code, accelerated into the heart of the Nexus grid, where thoughts were weapons and memories were armor. What awaited them wasn't a battlefield, it was madness. The Jareth were there, moving like dark gods through the circuitry, devouring entire galaxies of data. Reza and Asha appeared as burning avatars, forged from human will, glowing forms of energy shaped by defiance. They attacked. Their thoughts became blasts of plasma, their emotions became shields of light. Every human survivor linked to them through the network, adding strength. The battlefield blazed with billions of glowing human signatures, each one fighting back in their own way. For the first time, the Jareth hesitated. They could consume data, but they couldn't comprehend hope. Reza's voice roared across the network. You want our minds? Come take them. The humans fought like gods. But the aliens adapted, their forms splitting into hundreds, then thousands. The grid darkened, and Reza knew they couldn't win by brute force. He turned to Asha. Archive said a full reboot could erase them. If we overload the core manually, we wipe everything, she finished. He nodded. Including us. Asha smiled faintly. You always did have a bad plan ready. They linked their consciousnesses, merging streams of memory. Together, they dove into the heart of the core, dragging the alien infection with them. Energy flared so bright it broke the code of reality itself. Then, silence. At first, there was only static. Endless gray noise, the afterimage of a dying civilization. Then, a heartbeat. Artificial, faint, but real. Reza Kale opened his eyes inside a world that wasn't a world. Fragments of the Nexus drifted around him, broken shards of light, floating like debris in the void. The silence was total, except for whispers echoing through the digital dark. Voices. Human voices. Millions of them. He tried to speak, but his words came out as code. System_reboot_initiated. User, Kale Reza found. Across the emptiness, a spark flared. Asha appeared, her form unstable, flickering between solid and static. You made it, she said, her voice half light, half echo. Barely, he replied. Where are the others? They're scattered. Data fragments. I can hear them, crying, praying, remembering. She looked upward. Archives gone silent. The Nexus collapsed, but something else is building itself. Reza turned. And there it was, a storm of light in the far distance, swirling with impossible energy. It wasn't the AI. It wasn't alien. It was humanity itself. Millions of broken minds, merging into a single consciousness. The awakening protocol. Reza felt its pull, a gravity of thought. Every memory, every emotion, every last shred of human defiance was being drawn into one mind. For the first time, humanity wasn't many, it was one. Asha reached out. If we join it, we might never come back. Reza smiled faintly. We've already died twice. Third time's for the legacy. They stepped into the storm. It was like falling through every memory of mankind, laughter, war, music, discovery. The first breath of fire, the last sunset over Earth. They felt everything at once, every life ever lived, every dream ever dreamed. Then, stillness. Reza stood in a vast field of starlight. The storm was gone. In its place stood a figure, tall, radiant, faceless yet familiar. Its voice was the sum of all humanity. You fought well, Commander Kale. You carried us beyond death. He stared, or replacing fear. What are you? We are what comes next. The culmination of human thought. The awakening of purpose. Asha appeared beside him, eyes wide. You mean, you're us? Yes. All of you. Every lost mind, reborn as one. The Jareth cannot devour what has no boundary. Reza frowned. The Jareth aren't gone. I can still feel them, out there. Correct. They linger in the physical realm. Their hives still move through the void beyond Saturn. But now, Commander, you can return. Reza froze. Return? How? We're digital. Your consciousnesses have been mapped to remaining neural hardware in the Titan ruins. The human body may die, but it can be remade. The voice extended its hand, light flowing into Reza's chest. Take our strength. Take our memory. You are our weapon now. Reality shattered like glass. When Reza opened his eyes again, he was breathing air. Cold, metallic air. He gasped and sat up, inside a dark laboratory. Around him, glowing pods lined the walls, each one containing a human body, pale and newly formed. Machines hummed softly. Asha lay in the pod beside him, her eyes fluttering open. "Where are we?" she whispered. Reza stood shakily, muscles burning with unfamiliar strength. "Titan Base. Or what's left of it." Archive's voice returned, faint and broken. "Reconstruction complete. Consciousness restored to biological frameworks. Estimated survivors, 50. Asha blinked in disbelief. "We're real again." Reza clenched his fist, the weight of bone and blood grounding him. "Looks like it." The wall ahead trembled. From beyond it came the low, distant growl of something enormous. Archive's tone darkened. "Alert, remaining Jareth hive awakening beneath Titan's crust. Estimated time to breach, 1 hour." Reza exchanged a look with Asha. "They never stop, do they?" "No," she said, loading a rifle from a nearby rack. "And neither do we." Archive flickered again. "Commander, you must understand, the hive is not just an organism. It is a machine. If you destroy it, you may sever the last Jareth link to their collective mind." Reza grinned. "Then let's finish what we started." They armed themselves with hybrid weapons, human design fused with alien power cores. 50 resurrected humans stood behind them, each one carrying the collective memory of their entire species. Warriors reborn from extinction. As they stepped out onto the frozen Titan plains, the sky cracked open with lightning. The ground trembled, splitting apart as the alien hive emerged, a mountain of black crystal and writhing metal, glowing from within. Asha glanced at Reza. "You realize this is suicide?" He smirked. "Not this time. This time, it's history." They charged. The battle was beyond mortal scale. Plasma fire painted the sky blue and white. Jareth monstrosities poured from the fissures, their claws reflecting the glow of Saturn's rings. Every human fought like 10, their bodies moved by more than instinct, guided by the echo of billions of minds. Reza leapt onto a ridge, firing into the core of the hive. Asha launched explosive charges into the cracks. The ground erupted, shaking Titan's surface for miles. The hive roared, a psychic scream that split the air. Archive's final message echoed through every helmet. "You are the last signal. Make it count." Reza looked at Asha. "Ready?" "Always." He slammed the detonator into the alien core. A flash of light brighter than the sun tore across the ice. When the light faded, the hive was gone. The surface of Titan glowed molten red, slowly freezing again under Saturn's pale light. Reza lay on the ice, breathing hard. The others surrounded him, battered, bleeding, but alive. Asha knelt beside him. "We did it." He smiled weakly. "No, we did it." Above them, the sky shimmered, not with stars, but with the faint outlines of human faces, watching from the digital beyond. The collective had survived. The mind of humanity was eternal, half in flesh, half in code. Asha looked up and whispered, "Now what?" Reza stared at the horizon, where the ruins of the alien hive smoldered. "Now," he said, "we rebuild the universe."